Welcome to today's deep dive. We're going to be going through this really complex cybercrime case.
Oh, wow.
It's really interesting because it's based on a bunch of first-hand accounts and official documents.
Okay, interesting.
And it all comes from this anonymous whistleblower that goes by the name NonCitizenFive.
Okay,
Now, we say anonymous, but actually, U.S. authorities know who they are.
gotcha.
So this person, NonCitizenFive, is alleging that there was this multifaceted cyber attack
Mm.
that actually could even have international implications.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, this is going to be a wild ride.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
So, one of the things that's so fascinating about this case is how the timeline unfolds.
Okay, yeah.
It starts with all these seemingly isolated events that slowly escalate into this full-blown cybercrime saga.
Right.
And it leaves you wondering, what were the real motives? How are all these things connected?
Absolutely. It's like trying to put together a puzzle without all the pieces.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So to give you a little bit of context, one of the key players here is this UK FinTech startup, Ltd.
Okay. I've heard of them.
Yeah, so they were actually founded back in October 2020 by a guy named he's the CEO.
Okay.
Now, here's where things get interesting. Their entire development team is based in Russia.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Yeah, and throughout this whole story, we're going to see how various cloud providers play a role. Companies like Google Cloud, AWS, and DigitalOcean.
Right.
And at the center of it all is NonCitizenFive, our whistleblower. And it seems like their tech expertise kind of accidentally dragged them into something way bigger than they ever anticipated.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it really makes you question, was NonCitizenFive specifically targeted because of their skills? Were they supposed to be used in this grand scheme?
Right.
Or was this whole whistleblowing thing just kind of a consequence of them being in the wrong place at the wrong time?
Right. Was it just a coincidence?
Yeah. It's was it targeted or was it just accidental?
Yeah.
A total accident.
Right. I mean, that's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah. That's what we're going to try to figure out in this deep dive.
Yeah.
So let's jump into the timeline because this is where things get really fascinating.
Okay.
So it all starts back in 2020.
Okay.
NonCitizenFive is going through this string of kind of suspicious events.
Like what?
So first they lose their job.
Okay.
Then they have court proceedings that get delayed because of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Oh, wow.
And then on top of all of that, they keep getting invited to all these fake job interviews.
Fake job interviews.
Yeah, it's almost like someone is intentionally trying to destabilize their life.
Wow, that's unsettling.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Yeah.
You're trying to set them up for something.
Yeah, it feels very calculated, almost like softening the ground before the real attack,
Yeah, exactly. It's like they're trying to make them vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
So fast forward to January 2021,
Okay.
and boom, their first confirmed hack happens.
Oh.
Yeah. They lose access to all their passwords, all their encrypted data,
Yeah,
just gone.
that's rough. That timing makes you wonder if buying that new computer was somehow connected.
Right.
Did the perpetrators know? Was this planned or just a coincidence?
Yeah, it's very suspicious.
It is.
And then just a month later, February 2021,
Okay.
enters the picture.
And who's that?
So we'll get into their role a little later, but they're a pretty significant figure in all of this.
Okay.
And the timing of their arrival in Berlin is definitely noteworthy.
Right, especially if we're considering a potential escalation of cyber attacks around this time.
Exactly. There's definitely a connection there that we need to explore.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, things take another interesting turn in March 2021.
Okay.
NonCitizenFive starts working at Share Ltd.
Oh, okay. Was there something else going on? Like a hidden agenda, maybe?
It definitely makes you wonder.
Yeah, especially with all the other strange things happening around this time.
Right. It could be that Ltd wasn't actually interested in NonCitizenFive's work, but maybe they were after their expertise or credentials for some other reason?
Yeah, like they were trying to use them for something.
Exactly.
Bypass any usual hiring scrutiny.
Right.
It's very suspicious.
Okay, so NonCitizenFive settles into this new role,
Yeah.
and it doesn't take long for them to start uncovering some really concerning security vulnerabilities.
Oh, no.
Yeah, this is in April 2021.
Okay.
And these vulnerabilities are within Ltd's cloud infrastructure. And as you can imagine, NonCitizenFive starts to get really suspicious.
Yeah, I bet.
Especially when they consider that the entire development team is Russian, and they're really insistent on not using certain security measures that are standard practice.
Okay, yeah, an all-Russian team developing for a UK FinTech startup and then avoiding standard security practices.
Right. Red flag city.
Huge red flag.
Huge red flag.
Yeah. It makes you wonder if those vulnerabilities were intentionally built in. Like, were they trying to make it easy to transfer data somewhere less regulated?
That's a scary thought.
It is. It's a very scary thought.
So NonCitizenFive is picking up on all these inconsistencies and red flags, and they start documenting everything.
Good for them.
Yeah. So throughout May 2021, they're meticulously documenting every security risk they find, and they end up compiling this list of 30 serious concerns.
30? That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
And then things come to a head on June 2nd, 2021.
Okay, what happened?
NonCitizenFive decides they can't stay silent any longer, so they confront the CEO about all these vulnerabilities.
Wow, that must have been a tense conversation.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds like a turning point in the story.
It totally is. It's like everything changes after this confrontation.
Yeah.
So immediately after raising their concerns, NonCitizenFive is abruptly terminated.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're threatened, told to destroy all evidence, and warned about legal repercussions if they say anything.
They were basically silenced.
Completely silenced and cast aside.
Wow. Those threats and intimidation tactics are really alarming.
Yeah, it's really scary stuff.
It makes it seem like they were trying to cover something up.
Right, like NonCitizenFive was about to expose something much bigger.
Exactly. And they couldn't let that happen.
And then, get this, in June and July of 2021, there's this major cyber attack.
Oh, wow. Do we know if it was connected to...
So our sources don't explicitly state a connection, but the timing is just too suspicious to ignore.
Yeah, right after NonCitizenFive is fired.
Exactly. So naturally, NonCitizenFive starts to believe that their termination is somehow linked to this larger attack.
Right.
So they file whistleblower reports with US and UK authorities.
Okay.
Under the reference number AT989QLT. And they allege that they were involved in a financial crime and that it's possibly connected to this cyber attack.
I mean, the timing of it all is very suspicious. It definitely seems like there's something more to investigate.
So this morning, the Russian government denies it knows anything about the apparent disappearance of a ransomware gang known as REvil. The group got millions in ransom after attacking multiple companies this year. The disappearance comes after discussion between Presidents Biden and Putin, and also as the Biden administration prepares to announce new steps to streamline the government response to ransomware. Along those lines, joining me now is Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. Mr. Secretary, thank you so much for being with us. What can you tell us about who took this ransomware group offline?
So thank you very much for having me this morning. We can't really comment on that publicly right now, but I will say the president has spoken very strongly about the fact that nation states have a responsibility to identify and hold accountable cyber criminals within their boundaries. And that is what we are moving forward on.
In their boundaries. Well, that's interesting.
But unfortunately for NonCitizenFive, the nightmare isn't over.
Oh no. What else happened?
They start experiencing even more hacking attempts, and they begin to suspect that their home devices are compromised.
Wow, so they're being targeted even after leaving the company.
Yeah, they're living in a constant state of fear and uncertainty.
That's terrifying. It really shows just how far these attackers are willing to go to silence someone.
Yeah, it's a chilling reminder of how relentless these cyber attacks can be.
It really is.
So in July 2021, NonCitizenFive makes a big decision.
What's that?
They marry
Okay, but why?
They cite safety concerns and wanting legal protection.
Oh, wow. So they felt that getting married was the best way to protect themselves.
Yeah, it seems like it was a direct result of all the threats and hacking attempts.
It's really sad that they felt forced into that decision.
It is. It just shows how much this whole experience was impacting their life.
Yeah, absolutely. It highlights the very real human cost of these kinds of attacks.
And then on July 8th, 2021, there's this email exchange between NonCitizenFive and CEO.
Okay.
And you can just feel the tension escalating.
What do they talk about?
Well, you can sense NonCitizenFive's paranoia growing.
Yeah, I can only imagine after everything that's happened, they have every right to be paranoid.
Right. It's like a glimpse into how much this whole ordeal is messing with them psychologically.
Yeah, it's really unsettling.
So even though they're no longer working at the consequences of this whole ordeal are far from over.
Right.
NonCitizenFive and are still experiencing constant hacking and surveillance.
Oh, wow. So they can't escape it.
No, they end up relocating to Italy for safety.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And it's during this time that NonCitizenFive starts to share their story anonymously as NonCitizenFive.
Oh, okay. Like a whistleblower,
Sure.
trying to raise awareness and get some protection. It's amazing that they're still trying to fight back even after everything they've been through.
I know, it's really inspiring. And it shows just how determined they are to expose what happened.
And how sophisticated and persistent these attacks can be.
Absolutely. They're not giving up, and neither are we.
Okay, so where do we go from here?
Well, we've only just scratched the surface of this story. In the next part of our deep dive, we're going to delve into NonCitizenFive's personal notes and reflections.
You know, we just explored the timeline of events, but what really gets to me is the constant harassment they faced.
Oh, yeah.
Even after moving to Italy for safety. It's just relentless. So this is where NonCitizenFive's personal notes and updates to their network become so crucial.
I agree.
Because they give us a glimpse into the real impact,
Mm.
the emotional and psychological toll this whole ordeal took on them.
Yeah, these first-hand accounts are just raw and unfiltered.
Cool.
You can feel the fear, the isolation, and just the constant struggle to understand what was happening.
It's a stark reminder that cybercrime goes way beyond just data breaches and financial loss.
Right.
It's the emotional and psychological scars that can really linger.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
And in one update, NonCitizenFive writes, I became the anonymous whistleblower NonCitizenFive after being set up to take the fall in a financial crime that involved compliance with the NYSE to which I had been attached.
Wow, the NYSE, that's the New York Stock Exchange.
Exactly. One of the biggest in the world.
So this suggests that the financial crime might have had global implications.
Yeah, it has a whole other layer of complexity to this case.
Absolutely.
NonCitizenFive goes on to describe how they were threatened, terminated, and hacked by their former employer.
It's just awful.
They were told to destroy all the evidence, even threatened over Zoom.
These are classic intimidation tactics.
Yeah.
Trying to silence whistleblowers before they can go public.
Scary stuff.
It is.
And it gets even worse.
Yeah.
Their personal information ended up on the dark web.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and their address was compromised.
That's a complete invasion of privacy.
It's terrifying. And you can really feel that fear in NonCitizenFive's writing.
yeah.
They talk about how the agenda is still ongoing,
Oh, gosh.
with temps on their life and being pursued from location to location.
That's terrifying.
And they even mention security agencies on both sides.
Wow. So they
You know-
felt like they were being watched.
Yeah. Or maybe even manipulated by intelligence agencies.
It's understandable why they felt so paranoid and distrustful
Right.
with all this happening and no real answers.
It's like they're trapped in a web of suspicion, unsure who to trust or where to turn for help.
Right.
In another note, NonCitizenFive reflects on what happened leading up to their termination. Early on, things derailed, but there were many hands. It was zero customer impact.
Okay, so at first it seemed like maybe just incompetence.
Yeah, like disorganization or something.
But then things changed.
Definitely. As things progressed, they started to see a pattern,
Hmm.
and certain actions became an indicator and now potentially evidence of intent or actual cybercrime.
Wow. So they started to suspect something more deliberate was going on
Yeah, like a plan.
with potentially criminal intent.
Right.
That's a huge shift in perspective.
It is. And they highlight some really specific things that were off.
Like what?
Well, for example, the decision not to use cloud DNS, which is a standard security practice.
Right.
Instead, they opted for a less secure setup within Kubernetes and the VPC.
Okay, so these are deliberate choices
Yeah,
that deviate from normal security practices.
exactly. And those choices could potentially enable data exfiltration or unauthorized access.
Making the whole system vulnerable.
Exactly.
Wow.
And then NonCitizenFive mentions this DevOps lead who bragged about being able to bypass logs and manipulate data.
Oh, no.
They even said he could change them, delete them, etc.
That's not good.
No, it's like they were flaunting their ability to cover their tracks.
Yeah, that's a major red flag.
Huge red flag.
Yeah, it really suggests a cover-up.
Huh.
Or at least trying to hide something.
Exactly. And there's this other incident NonCitizenFive describes
Okay.
where the Russian team put online this massive 9 VM test environment
Okay.
without following any instructions.
Why would they do that?
Yeah. Well, NonCitizenFive writes, this was a tight deadline, but it really seems like a deliberate attempt to create chaos.
Yeah, maybe introduce vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
Or distract from something else.
Right. And through all of this, NonCitizenFive is being bombarded with questions about the back-end setup,
Oh, wow.
pressure to explain discrepancies that weren't even their fault.
So they're being set up to take the fall.
Yeah. They write, it wasn't until after that I realized why everyone cared about the answers. They were testing my ability to know how much they could bend on things before I would notice.
It's like they were being evaluated.
Exactly, like groomed or something, to
Yeah.
see how far they could push things before NonCitizenFive would push back.
That's really creepy.
It is. They write about feeling like a consistent in a bad, semi-scripted reality show,
Wow.
with the CEO playing a role in this bizarre performance.
So they felt completely manipulated.
Totally. They write, even though the correct answer came rolling off his tongue, I knew he was not such to believe the words he said. They were just what someone would want to hear, someone other than me.
They knew they were being lied to.
Yeah. It's like they were constantly second-guessing themselves.
It's gaslighting, trying to make them question their own sanity.
And it's not just the CEO. There are all these weird occurrences and conversations that just seem designed to provoke a reaction from NonCitizenFive.
Like they were testing them.
Exactly. NonCitizenFive describes the CEO's anger when they would give logical explanations, like he was expecting something else entirely.
It's like he wanted them to break.
Yeah, to lash out or something.
Yeah.
NonCitizenFive writes, the last time a discussion happened like this, he interrupted me. Stop, stop. You have already gotten me to have doubts. I thought to myself, good, finally, because you have reason to doubt, because I know that something is bad in this situation and it cannot possibly be what I'm thinking right here in plain sight.
Wow, they were really starting to catch on.
Yeah, but it came at a cost.
Yeah.
All this happened before the threats, the termination, and the major cyber attack.
It's crazy how much pressure they were under.
It's really disturbing.
Yeah.
And their story just shows how devastating cybercrime can be.
It's not just about the data or the money.
Ooh.
It's the emotional and psychological impact that can be so damaging.
Absolutely.
And often overlooked.
Yeah. Okay, so we've spent the last two parts of this deep dive really digging into NonCitizenFive's story.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey.
Right. We've seen those early red flags,
Mm-hmm.
the relentless cyber attacks, and that chilling psychological manipulation they faced.
It's a lot to process.
It is.
Mm.
So now I think it's time to step back and look at the bigger picture.
Okay.
What are the wider implications of this case?
Yeah, good point. One thing that really stands out to me throughout NonCitizenFive's experience is this constant, pervasive lack of trust. It's like they're always second-guessing everything and everyone.
Right, like they're trapped in this maze with no way out.
Exactly. And that feeling of isolation is often made worse by the attackers themselves, you know?
Definitely. It's like a tactic.
It is. They use it to undermine the victim's credibility.
Right.
Make them doubt their own sanity.
Yeah, make them seem unreliable.
Exactly. So that if they ever do speak out, people are less likely to believe them.
That's so messed up.
It is.
They
And it's a
need-
common tactic in these kinds of cases, unfortunately.
Yeah, it makes it that much harder to get help.
Exactly.
And then, another layer of complexity in NonCitizenFive's case is that it spans multiple countries.
Oh, right.
We're
Right.
talking US, UK, Germany, Italy.
Yeah, that's a nightmare to deal with legally.
Oh, totally. Each country has its own laws, its own regulations.
It's a jurisdictional mess.
It is. It makes it incredibly difficult to navigate legal processes or even figure out how to seek justice.
Absolutely. And it highlights the challenges of dealing with cybercrime and whistleblowing in a globalized world.
Right? It's a tangled web.
Totally. NonCitizenFive mentioned filing whistleblower reports with both U.S. and U.K. authorities.
Right.
But we have no idea what happened with those reports.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
It is. And that uncertainty is something a lot of whistleblowers face.
Right.
It's a long, arduous process
It is.
with
because-
little transparency and no guarantee of an outcome.
And it can be dangerous, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh.
Especially when you're dealing with powerful entities that might want to retaliate.
And throughout all of this,
Hmm.
NonCitizenFive is dealing with the psychological trauma.
Right.
And that feeling of being manipulated, gaslighted, it
Yeah.
can be incredibly damaging.
Oh, absolutely. It erodes trust, creates paranoia, makes it hard to know what's real and what's not.
It's like a form of psychological torture.
It is.
So where do we go from here? What do we learn from NonCitizenFive's experience?
Well, I think it starts with awareness.
Okay, yeah.
We need to understand the cyber threats out there and be proactive about cybersecurity.
Both individually and as organizations.
And within organizations, I think it's crucial to create a culture of transparency and accountability.
Right, where people feel safe speaking up.
Exactly, where they're not afraid of being punished for raising concerns.
And what if someone finds themselves in a situation like NonCitizenFive's?
Well, first of all, it's important to remember they're not alone.
Right.
There are organizations out there that can help.
Like who?
Well, the Electronic Frontier Foundation, the Whistleblowing International Network, the Government Accountability Project.
Yeah.
They offer legal guidance, advocacy support.
That's amazing.
Yeah, they can connect people with others who have been through similar things.
It's so important to have that support.
It is, because whistleblowers are crucial, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
They hold power accountable, they expose wrongdoing.
Right. Their voices are so important.
They are, and we all have a responsibility to listen, to offer support, and to demand better protections for them.
I agree. NonCitizenFive's story has been a real eye-opener, to say the least.
It has.
It shows the human cost of cybercrime, the challenges whistleblowers face, and just how complex these issues can be.
Absolutely. It's a call to action for all of us.
Right. To be more vigilant, more informed, and to support those who speak truth to power.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So stay safe, everyone, stay informed, and keep asking those tough questions.
Don't forget to like and subscribe for the next episode on While We Were Distracted.